We are gonna put this house here on this lot here, and we're gonna answer every single question as you go and show you the entire thing step by step. We are filming an entire luxury home being built from start to finish, from grass and dirt to keys in the hand and groceries going in the fridge. We are doing this because if you are trying to move to the beach, you very likely are considering new construction. We do a ton of new construction. We help people select the right builder. We go through the entire process with them hand in hand and make sure that everything's good. We are realtors. It's kind of our job, right? And full disclaimer, I do not work for Toll Brothers. I do not represent them in any way. They are letting me come in here as a third party and document this at the request of the homeowner. Disclaimer, legal disclaimer in the mix. Okay, so we are over here. I am gonna start at the back of the house because that just happens to be where we're parked. The drone is in the air. We are already filming. So right there, that is the garage. And on the far side, up near where the that white car and that white truck are, that's the actual house itself. The garage here is gonna be separated just like the one next door. I think that's cool as hell. I wish more people did that. And there's another one that's under construction right there. So coming around the side, as you can see my yellow dotted head bopping around. First thing we run into, the electricity is already ready to go. That's already put in. So the power pole, or the power back here is already half installed. So for most of your newer homes, the power is going to be under the ground. For the newer subdivisions that are here, whenever a hurricane comes, because of the fact that, you know, a lot of the electricity is buried and it's not hanging up in the air on a pole, because of that, it helps mitigate power losses and helps keep the lights on in the middle of a storm. So first thing we're going to see here, well, it's technically second thing. And you can see this from above. You see this blue padding right here? What that is, this is compacted dirt that is up underneath where the cement pad is going to be. This compacted dirt, and here's a common question for you. How do I know there's not termites in my house from the day that it's built? Well, what they've already done is they have already pre-treated the underside of this slab, because termites can eat concrete. They have already pre-treated the underside of this slab with basically pesticide to stop the bugs from coming up at it from underneath. Now, is there extra bug treatments after that? Yep. We'll talk about that as we go. That compacted dirt, as you can see the chunks of rebar that are sitting there, and this big gnarly one that's sitting right down by my feet. The rebar is already laid out underneath that compacted dirt, and they're just waiting for the cement people to get here. I'm guessing next week the cement is going to get poured. So congratulations, you have just signed papers to get a brand new house built. You're gonna go home, you're gonna tell your friends, and you're gonna be like, oh my God, I have to sell this house up here now, what do I do? And like that whole thing. But early on, what's gonna happen is you're gonna have either a Zoom call or a conference call with the builder, and you're gonna have the builder's realtor, basically the one that sold you the house. The builder's rep is gonna be there. And your construction manager, whoever that's going to be, is going to get assigned to oversee your house. They are also going to be on that call. If you are represented by a realtor on your side, and that is a very good idea to have that, because the builder cannot legally represent you. In this case, it would be me for Mr. Yacht Rock. I'll be on that call as well. They are going to go over their entire procedure for getting the house built with you on that call. In this case, and in most cases, to be honest with you, in this case, these guys have a personal one-to-one phone call that they will do once per week with the home buyer in order to give them progress, in order to, sometimes they'll send pictures, right? Sometimes you'll have your own app that you can download, and what they'll do is they'll upload the progress into the app like every week on like a Friday or a Wednesday or something. That way you can look at it and be like, oh, that's how my baby is coming. Chasing love out on Thunder Island. Coming up the side, another common question, hey, how long does it take to get a house built? Well, I'll tell you. Generally speaking, and it obviously depends on weather, right? Because if there's like a big storm that comes through or like rain, they're not necessarily going to be able to work during that, depending on what they're doing. So, you know, that can slow things down. But generally speaking, it's 5 to 7 months. Now, in this case, assuming that there's no like weather events, you know, AKA hurricanes that happen to pop by, the actual house, like the bones of the house, this should all be done in like 3 months, which is really, really fast. Doesn't mean they're going out of control, but they're going. And you can see how deep down the cement footers on this are going to go. That's probably a good 4 feet down there. So this place is going to have a good foundation. Another question, hey, what about basements? I have heard tale that there are basements in Myrtle Beach somewhere, but basically there aren't any real, you're hardly ever going to see them. Why? If you had a basement, because the water table is so high, it would basically turn into like a pool pretty quick. So there are no basements here. Now, and you can see part of the plumbing coming out this way. You see these studs that are sticking up? Those are going to be drains to go into the plumbing. You'll see them spaced out. At different points, there's going to be sinks. There's going to be bathrooms. There are, in fact, that one that's like way up in the corner up there. I know that's a bathroom. I'll show you that in the model. But all of the utilities that are pointed up, basically they're making room for it. So when the concrete gets poured, it gets poured around it. Lance, how do you know that everything underground doesn't leak? How do you know that all the wiring and the piping and all of that stuff is straight? Well, the county won't let them pour cement until they come and inspect. There you go. There's one of your first inspections. The county gets here and they basically, at various stages, and I'm going to try not to kill myself here, at various stages, this being the first stage, they come and they make sure that the house itself, everything is as it should be under the ground, because once they pour the cement, that's it. If you want a different set of eyes other than the builder, just because, like Ronald Reagan said, trust but verify, right? I think that's one of the wisest quotes ever. You could have us as your buyer's representatives go out and check the place. And if you wanted something more than that, that brings us to our first big question that people ask. Inspections. Hey, I want to get an inspector to come out and inspect the house as it's being built. Well, long story short, and every builder is going to be different. For instance, and I knew like the minimum, but like in this case, this home was going to be inspected 13 times by multiple different inspectors in multiple different ways, and the buyer would never have even known. So, if you, at least in Toll Brothers' case, if you want your own inspector to come out and inspect as they go along, they will allow it. It might slow down the process. It might not. It just, it depends, because you're talking about timing and all of that. But in this case, there are 13 different inspections that happen without the buyer or me having to lift a finger. So, yeah. Do you want your own inspector? That's up to you. And it depends on the builder as well. But in this case, we are foregoing an inspector because it's going to be inspected to death. Both our bodies drying in the sunshine, sweet sunshine. And another thing of note, this is the second question that I've been asked that we should probably go over. Is it okay if I go out and look at the home site myself as they're being built? Well, yes, with a giant asterisk next to it. Technically speaking, you do not own that home until you sign papers with the lawyer. That home site and everything on it belongs to the builder, right? If you go on there and you fall down and you break your butt, well, that's on you, right? It is a live construction site. It is dangerous. As Miss Plano, Texas can attest, the last pair of shoes that I've ruined, you can also sink right up to your knee if you're not careful in mud. It'll look like it's solid dirt, but you got no idea. So it is not for the faint of heart to go traipsing around on a construction site. If you are going to do so, you have to ask the builder first, and the builder will clear it. Again, it's theirs until it's yours. So you gotta ask. Otherwise, it's trespassing. Really nice bay window is gonna go in here. That is going to be, that's their front porch. Bathroom goes right there. Entryway. House. Garage. And that whole back chunk that's right, well, it's right there. That whole back chunk, that's going to be a covered patio back there. I wonder how it's going to look from above. I can't wait to download the drone footage. So I'm going to get around this death trap here. First big tap right here that's going down underneath that caution tape. That is your clean out for the sewer, right? So all the wastewater from there is going to come here down into the city sewage. Most of your newer subdivisions here, they're not going to be on septic tank unless you're just way out in the middle of nowhere. And that could be. But most of it's going to be tapped into the city water and sewer, so you don't have to worry about, the whole septic tank thing. Now, a point about this, because this will be sticking up out of the ground, a point about this is if you were building the same house and you were way out in the sticks and it was on like Conway City water and sewer, somewhere near this, and I'm going to try to include a picture, you're going to see like a big green circle thing on the ground with like a little thing sticking out of it. If you're like way, way, way out there, like Mr. and Miss San Antonio, y'all are the ones I'm thinking of at this point. You'll have what amounts to a priming pump that's right next to it, kind of like a, for lack of a better word, an incinerator for sewage that would basically chop it up and make sure that it gets, pushed downstream. So this is going to be the front of the house. There's going to be a walkway going straight to the front door here. And on this side, here's where your water comes in. It's hard to see, but there's a water meter buried underneath all that stuff. Obviously, they'll fix it, and as they go. You're kind of looking at sausage being made. So if you see anything that's like covered dirt, something that looks like it's been messed up or knocked aside, that's probably because it got knocked aside by somebody on like a piece of construction gear. So you know, that's to be understood. They fix that stuff as they go along.
Making love out on Thunder Island.
So that's it for our first installment. When we come back, I'm gonna check in next week, and I bet you the cement's gonna be poured. We could talk about that. They may even get started on the walls and the foundation thereof, because that's where the hurricane protection actually really starts, right when they start laying the walls. It's really neat. So I'm gonna get the drone out of the air. It's still hovering over there, still filming. Suppose I should get it before the battery runs out, right? Sploosh. So I mentioned that this place was in Saybrook. Saybrook was in basically sandwiched between Sockasty and Surfside Beach. You can kind of think of this place as like Market Common North. If you had any interest in an area like this, there's a video that we did on it. I'm going to link to it here. And you're also going to see a link to the playlist that this is going to sit in. So if you're looking at this a couple months from now and you're on video like 7, right, you can see the entire playlist and you can see where it starts, and you can go in and start from the beginning. Thanks for watching.